What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother?
Yes, sir. Hot day out here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Indeed.
Now, to start it off, a lot of people, from the pronunciation of your name, can you pronounce your government name?
Diallo Sekou.
Diallo Sekou. Okay. Now, from my understanding, there's a lot of political things going on in Jacksonville, Florida, and you are currently running for a city council position, correct?
Right.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Before you thought about running in for city council, what were you doing before you decided to get political? What were you doing for the community? What were you doing for the people? I just gotta be raw and uncut with it. What were you doing?
What was I doing?
Exactly. Give me your resume. The whole 4-9.
The same thing I've always been doing since I moved here, man. Working for the upliftment of humanity, my people.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what specifically can you tell me that you've done? You've been a part of? Programs, anything that you have implemented throughout Jacksonville, period. You know, the people that don't know you, they gonna wanna know this, and I wanna know this for myself. You know, this is, you know.
So, for the past over 5 years, we've been dealing with urban farming through my nonprofit, Urban Geoponics, and what that is about eliminating food deserts. And once we get that in, once we got that rolling, then the bigger plan came about, which is controlling the community, creating housing, and then also understanding the political scheme of things, because food deserts will create food deserts as an economic desert, not just grocery stores leaving or business leaving, but economic desert.
Brother, what is a food desert? Because there's people who don't know. You know, what's a food desert? You know?
A food desert is when, according to the government definitions, when you can walk for about 15-20 minutes and not find fresh fruit or vegetables, affordable fresh fruit and vegetables. So for the most part, a lot of so-called black communities in the United States are food deserts, which are generally economic deserts, which leads to systemic issues and huge indifferences between sides of town.
Okay. Now, I have read a little research myself about you, you know what I mean? And I understand there was some issues with the community, the people in the community, and law enforcement. And there were a couple of things that you were part of during that transition when there was a lot of community issues relating with law enforcement.
Like what?
As far as specifically,
I mean, because this
at the time we in Jacksonville, Florida, right? Mm-hmm. And before I even forget, what district are you running for, brother?
District 8.
District 8. Okay. Now back to, I'm gonna jump. You gotta, you know,
take your time, man. I'm trying.
It's a different type of interview. You know what I mean?
Specific.
So for you to be here, it's appreciation first off and an honor. You know what I mean? For brother B&SUN to be having you in the flesh right now. So with that being said, man, there was an issue going on with the people in Jacksonville and the law enforcement to where they wanted, from my understanding, it wasn't too many cameras at that time with the live cameras going on, and you kind of pushed that issue. From my understanding and my reading.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was just like this particular year, probably was 2013, 2014. You know, a lot of viral videos of so-called black men being murdered in the street unarmed, and you know, one of the reactionary things to that will be, well, body cameras and you know some other things, some policies that need to be put in place. Transparency some form of new transparency with law enforcement to create a bit of trust. And so my thing was organize, as Stokely Carmichael would say, and you know the civil disobedient part that you would get from Dr. King. And so I believe we planned, after we were in Ferguson and we were planning bridges to shut bridges down. And you know, after spending time with Mike Brown families, grandmas, aunts, and on the road with Brother James, you know, we were talking about that. I believe that was 2014. And so when I got back, the plan was to do it. So we did the Civil Disobedient Act was to stop the traffic on 95. And then once we did 95 that morning, we came back and we did the bridge.
Was you nervous when you was out there? I'm just asking the people. Was you nervous being out there? You know, because not too many people in Jacksonville gonna sit up here and close down a bridge or be involved in any type of protest like that? Was there any type of nervous going on with you?
Most definitely. When we did before we did the bridge, we did 95. And I learned quickly that you're very tiny when you're on 4-lane highway. I mean, you know, everything just kind of gets, you know, humongous.
Okay.
And you know, the most important thing was our safety at first. We had a safety plan in place, which was we had 2 layers of cars. And we knew we had a mile before our stop, so what we would do, we would slow the traffic down. We didn't just go and stop. So the first 2 layer cars were ours, protected us. And so there were people in that nobody ever knew who they are.
Okay.
Except those who were involved.
Okay.
And so then we had people recording at the top. And the important thing with that was the message of killing of unarmed black men. And then so your demand would be, we asked for body cameras, we were talking about citizen review boards, we were always talking about the underdevelopment of the north side, we were also talking about transparency.
Okay.
So those things have never left my personal initiative and those who were with me. And so that day, so later on that day, we like, let's go to the bridge.
Gotcha.
So 5 o'clock when everybody was trying to go home,
right,
we shut it down.
Now I also did a little research, man. It was something you had a couple of health walks in the past. You know, I guess relating to you know, health awareness, you know, in the community, man. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So you know, the awareness walks is something that we do. Even the bikes. You know, if you're in the area, when you learn health is the key and most important thing in our community, because the #1 killer of black men is cardiovascular disease, and that's generally from a bad diet. That's the urban farming, that's the exercising, and so you know, we want to make sure that we stay healthy. We want to make sure it becomes a lifestyle and not some reactionary thing. And so we have that, you know, we have the awareness walks as well.
Now I know I'm jumping all over the place. Now check this out. It's a lot going on in the political world in Jacksonville, Florida. Tell me, I want to know, just like, you know, raw and uncut, like, if we got an issue with somebody and you say, oh, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna grab them by the legs and lift them up, and you hit the top and I hit the bottom. With that being said, when you get in this position, what are your plans that you gonna do to the issues? Like, what are you gonna target in? What are you going for? What, you know, that.
Well, right now I'm working on the issue right now. I don't have to wait till I get into an office.
Gotcha.
But with the office, it'll give me legislative power, which means I can put some things in place that can sustain the area while we're here. And then I'll bring what I have from an organizer, an advocate, an activist, business owner, father, husband. You have to deal with direct impact. You can't dance around it.
Is your wife black? I ain't trying to be funny.
Yeah, she's a Moor.
Okay, she's African American. Okay,
Right.
I just had to check, because it's a lot of brothers who want to get in that position. I just had to ask.
Right.
Disrespect, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, okay.
So, you know, the first thing is always making sure that the community has their voice, and so like we do town hall meetings, we'll continue with the town hall meetings, and our town hall meetings be geared towards the solutions, because after 56 years, we know what the problems are.
Right.
So we have to create a time frame to be able to eliminate we have to do a direct impact in a time frame to be able to eliminate whatever the issues are.
Now this is one of my questions, you know what I'm saying? You know, my question is, you know, the District 8, that's zip code, correct me if I'm wrong, that's 32209, correct?
That's part of it.
Now I do see a lot of properties, from my observation when I drive through the city of Jacksonville, Florida, that like landlords, I see a lot of other people come into this community and they buy it up, but they don't fix it up.
Right.
Now, you being in that position, is there any way you can manipulate that and say, hey, we're gonna bring up the property value over here, we're gonna fix up the landscaping over here? Being in that city council position, is that your responsibility? And also, do you feel that that's a concern?
Yeah, so I'm already working on that now. Again, I don't have to be in office, so we buy the properties up, we work with people that want to get into the same
So you investing already into
Right. You already, you gotta put some money where your mouth is.
Okay.
Thus,
what you got?
Something called the Sankofa District.
Yes,
so, you know, we're dealing with issues in our community, opposed to going outside the building.
Okay, yes,
you
sir.
know, you create a relationship with the people that are coming in to buy your homes and to rent your homes. And as far as the city council position, they should understand what's taking place in every district. And one of the ways to do that is, and I'm giving out my secrets, is to make sure that the housing associations are organized. And that way you can have a group and you don't have to just kind of deal with every single person.
Right.
But those individuals in those neighborhoods, making sure that these neighborhoods, organizations, and housing associations are together, and then you can get what the issues are. And then, but you still should, they do have a tally of empty lots and homes and all the other things and properties that's leaned up. And as far as taking care of the property, what you would do is, the best thing to do is sub it out to contractors that live in the area.
Okay.
And that way you create jobs amongst your district. You know, they don't have to leave out. 95% of black people in Jacksonville leave their community, take 15 to 20 minutes just to get to their jobs. And you know, so we want to create a hub. And so when you create the hub and you hire from within, you're making sure your health is correct. You're making sure that it's no longer economic desert. Then you have an economic hub.
Right.
And so what that does automatically is it eliminates.
You saying a bunch of big words.
You know what economic is? Stop it, man.
No,
you know what hub is?
Right.
Hub is a location.
To individuals,
economic hub.
That language.
Where the money circulates.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to know this one. What makes you fit for that position for the people? Because if I'm not mistaken, that position is for the people, right? So what makes you?
The position is to be elected by the people, and the only qualification is that you live in a district,
right,
and you're a registered voter.
But why do you feel that Mr. Diallo himself, born and raised Duval County, 32209, you live around here, right? Why do you feel that you should be in that position? I mean, it's a lot of other people. I'm just saying. I want to know, what's the reason? What's your passion? Why you?
So let me make it real simple.
I'm all ears.
You know, slavery was legal. You know, it's created through legislation. The ending of slavery was legal and ended through legislation, laws, right? Then you had Reconstruction, the ending of Reconstruction. Then you had the Negro codes, the black codes, or Jim Crow, all done through legislation and laws. So the things, even the Civil Rights Act, legislation and laws. So the most powerful things outside of a man himself that has deterred, that has destroyed, that has never uplifted a particular community was done through legislation.
Okay.
So I always ask the people, why aren't you engaged in legislation?
Right.
Then when it's done in legislation, it becomes sustainable, whether it's negative or positive. So when you look at how the housing market is outgrowing in Jacksonville, the housing market is outgrowing the actual people themselves. That's done through people that are working in particular systems. When you look at how the housing, not the housing department, but a particular area in Jacksonville, how the area look, then you have to look at predatory lending that existed. You have to go back to the origin of banks that created red lines, which means there was an invisible line, and they didn't want those people living in those particular area, and then they would not give them loans to create their home, which can create your first form of legacy for your children. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of American institutions that people believe in, people are having the most problems with. And so by being a city council member, you know, we would come with not just the grassroots, but the real common core issues that have plagued this community and this city, with Jacksonville, period.
Now you living over here. Have you been satisfied in the past, I would say 8 years, with the current city council people that's been in that position? Have you been satisfied as a resident over here?
No, I've never actually been satisfied with a lot of stuff, and then, you know, that's because I got a conscience, and then it may not even be my living condition, but it may be other people not too far from me living condition, or even social issue or financing, because you know you have the local issues, but then you have state and federal issues. You know, when you deal with our homeless veterans, when you deal with even these students that are homeless. So there are a lot of issues, but it's important to have a state and a federal relationship or understanding of that streamline that can affect us locally.
Okay. Well, brother, man, you know what I mean? I got a lot from you in this conversation. I know people gonna have to rewind it about 4 or 5 times because he said a bunch of stuff compressed in a short period of time. You know what I mean? And we definitely gonna have you back here, brother. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. You are my first interviewer. You know what I mean? This brother had the balls, pardon my Swahili, and the courage to come in to an individual like me. And anybody know a person like me, they'll say, but this brother came into the presence, man, and he let it be known, man. You know, I support you, brother. I love what you've been doing in the past, man, and I really look forward to you in the future. You know?
Indeed.
Most definitely.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.